Hey, this is Chad, Drawn and Cornered. It is September 29th, 2021. Drawn and Cornered is all about daily news and analysis, super small, itty bitty bites that you can take with you and have all the news that you need for the course of the day. If you like that sort of thing, subscribe below, hit that bell so you get notifications every time we release a new video, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the weekends if anything happens. What you need to know today. Yesterday, a bunch of the military higher-ups got in front of Congress to talk about Joe Biden's Afghanistan withdrawal and kind of what happened and what went right, what went wrong, who knew what when type of thing. A couple of points that were really important from that day were, first off, the three across the board, McKenzie, Milley, and Austin, all said that they had conversations with the president about leaving a small force, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, in Afghanistan to make sure that we had some sort of operational capability for either exfil or just generally. It's going to be best to hold a small population there to keep out bad guys and keep an eye on the region, make sure Al-Qaeda is not reconstituting, all of those different things. All three of them said that they had those conversations with the president. Now, if you remember back in August with George Stephanopoulos, the president said specifically that nobody told him that a small group of American soldiers staying there or American military staying there would be a good idea. Not a single person said it. That seemingly is an outright lie. None of the three would say it's an outright lie. They all said that Joe Biden is a very smart, very honest man, and seemingly covering for the president, even though he was telling an outright lie. The second part that was also really wildly interesting is when Milley was pressed a little bit about why he didn't push back against the president with some of these statements that he was making and some of these movements that he was making, like why didn't you resign was the essential question. And Mark Milley said, I'm not going to resign just because the president didn't take my advice. You don't want generals determining what orders to accept or deny or to follow through on or to ignore coming from the president. Again, you'll remember that just a few weeks ago, Mark Milley was described in Bob Woodward's book as doing just that when it came to President Trump and actually having a phone call with his Chinese counterpart saying, hey, we're not going to attack you. If anything happens, you will hear from me first. And essentially taking the authority from the president and putting it in his shoes as far as what will be our impact with China in those closing days of the Trump presidency. So, yes, I guess he's unwilling to determine his own orders when it comes to Joe Biden, but very willing to determine his own orders when it comes to President Trump. So we'll see where that goes, if it goes anywhere. We'll see what sort of reporting will be on that. Joe Biden today, either press secretary or himself, I'm guessing his press secretary because he never appears for interviews, will have to answer the question, why did Joe Biden say that none of his military advisors said to keep a small contingent there when clearly all three of them said you should keep a small contingent there, and they all said that they made that abundantly clear. Joe Biden said they didn't say that, seemingly making it sound like everybody was in agreement about his plan, which was not the case at all. The other thing you need to know about today is, again, same thing we've been talking about before, the infrastructure bill and the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill are both coming to a head in Congress. The vote on the infrastructure bill was supposed to take place on Monday. It got pushed to Thursday, seemingly because we don't have the votes. Yesterday, Representative Jayapal came out again and said we will not be doing the infrastructure bill if the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill and massive spending doesn't get put through first. If that one doesn't get put through first, we're not going to be doing the infrastructure bill. And she may have enough in her Democratic caucus, her progressive caucus, to actually make that a possibility. She could kill the infrastructure bill. We'll see if Nancy Pelosi has the votes. She has already said herself that she will not bring the bill to the table unless she has the votes. So it's going to be a fight for the next 24 hours between those two to see who can whip up their caucus, who can whip up their representation better, faster, more reliably Nancy Pelosi's definitely got the experience on her side. She's definitely got a ton of capability on her side, probably a lot of leverage when it comes to the DNC as well. We'll see if the progressives can hold tight to what they believe and kill this bill before it even gets out. That's everything you need to know. Again, this is Drawn and Cornered. We do bite-sized morsels of news every morning with a little bit of analysis on a conservative tint. If you like that sort of thing, definitely subscribe to the channel below. If you have any questions, comments, critiques, leave those below in the comment section as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.